Bad aura. Okay, we doing this for real now? Are you here? Oh man, Google's advertising for Stadia again? Whew. Man, they're desperate. Okay, well, let's link this. Yep, this is what we call a really late midnight 1 o'clock stream. Normally it's supposed to be midnight, but yeah, things got in the way. So there's a few things I wanted to go over. People leaving the fandom. I'll probably make a proper video about some certain individuals, but for now let's go over some of the videos that I have in mind here. So there's a few people I've known that have left that didn't really make a big fuss about it. There was one character named Endaro and his boyfriend Dak. I remember they were hosting some fur meets every now and then nothing. They said they got sick of the people around, and then that was the end of that. Alright, let's make sure we are connected properly. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Another one was Daggeth. He just felt like it was going to interfere with his career. Speaking of careers, one of the big ones was Cameo Husky. Oh, where is he? Let's see. Furry album. We'll get to Curl the Raven here in just a moment. Yeah, Camel Husky though. His was interesting. I think I got it right here actually. So he was on the process of becoming a teacher, but also he's a pretty damn big YouTuber. He had like 30,000 subs. Something along those lines. He was doing pretty well. And then, well, temporary locking my account. Someone at my school has been harassing me and trying to get ruin my professional life, not leaving anything to chance. I guess I can relate to that concern. Before I joined, I had a concern like that. I know he goes to the convention still, but yeah, I thought that if I joined up, I was going to get a bunch of people and harassing my friends and getting me fired from my job. And then when that didn't happen, it was just like, okay, I guess that was just a bunch of hot air. Of course, I don't usually interact with any kind of chat room or forums. I don't have a big name for myself yet, so maybe that's a key difference here, being a public figure and everything. Hard to say. I had to go to the Wayback Machine just to pull one of his videos. I only managed to get one.
All the comments that will be left on this video. Those are gonna get pretty annoying. I'm Camo Roback, and these are my 25 things I hate about furries.
You know, you're a real shit-filled semen sock. Have we met before?
Yeah. Haters are a bunch of prejudgmental little pricks. Number 3.
I never have that many problems with them, really. All I get is usually stuff I go on r/yifandhell, which we will go on today, just to have a little bit of entertainment.
They're like everywhere, watching your every move. Number 4. Anyone who uses furry lingo is automatically placed in my special person category. I have hands, not paws. Even though I sometimes call this a hand paw, it's not a paw because it's still a hand.
Ruin the magic.
Why
Bad
is it that
boy.
when I'm at a convention, I see at least 30 people with video cameras and no good videos afterward? Why? No, I don't have the
Video editing takes
or
time.
the attention span to watch your 3-hour con video of people doing mundane shit. Just stop. And let's edit. Boxers on fursuits. I'm
Yes.
just not gonna get into detail about that one. Smelly people.
No,
and people
boxers
with
are
no
good.
communication
Actually,
skills.
tight undies are good.
Whenever I announce I'm going to
Tight
a
undies,
convention,
tight undies are
the
better.
last thing I wanna hear is,
Can't go to the con this year because my parents won't drive me, and my boyfriend that I'm trying to get together with, I thought we were pretty serious. I mean, it's been 3 weeks.
stop right there. I don't give a shit, so stop telling me. For now on, if anyone leaves a comment on my page, thanks for the watch, I'm just gonna unwatch them. Meme journals and free art journals. They're the reason why no one reads anymore. Curie bands. It's a stupid concept. Get it out.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Everyone is down. Shut the fuck up.
The fuck's
Down.
Kyrian
Everyone is
bands?
down. More. They're the reason why no one reads anymore. Curie bands. It's a stupid concept. Get it out of here.
Curie bands?
Everyone is down. Shut the fuck up. It seems like people use their keyboards like. There's greedy people in the world. Those who feel entitled to free art.
Curie bands are awards that page view whores give out. Hopefully to encourage people to check by regularly and hope they get the reward, which in turn raises their page views faster, but I bet the OP found that out already. Wait. So, like, okay, after a certain amount of page views, like, whoever leaves the comment at the right time gets a reward. A milestone, an interesting number displayed on a web counter, such as 10,000, or I just say over 9,000. The gift prize given to one who reaches such a milestone. A system of giving gifts to those who reach web count milestones. Okay.
Just make a new low to the human race. Art theft. Or even worse, video theft. Have you ever heard of copyright law? Furry slideshow videos on YouTube. It's not.
Yeah, that's the thing we should get into, art theft. Because it seems that people don't understand what the hell fucking art theft actually is. Unless you're, like, doing a one-for-one recreation of something, you're not really fucking stealing it, in my opinion. How about that? No, it's not even my opinion. That's a motherfucking fact. You're not stealing it, for the most part.
Photo bucket, get rid of it. As a former college mascot, it really irks me when someone doesn't know the difference between a furry name and a fursuit name. This is Rick, this is Camo. Rick, Camo, get it right. Hangover videos.
Well, don't even tell anyone that you're in that fursuit. That's what I would do. Michael Ringtail's Michael Ringtail. I'm not Michael Ringtail. I'm Crafty Andy. Bitch.
Like seriously guys, is that gonna get any better than Revit's video or my video? Just stop. We're just better. I know I already put furry lingo as one, but I hate this term so much it gets its own thing. If you ever use the term poppy fur, go fuck yourself. Sometimes I'm watching a live stream of an artist, and then I look at the chat and
Hey Strokes, hugs.
Hey Gail, how's it going?
I've had a pretty boring day. Knuckles.
Wow, that stinks. Want me to help you make it feel better?
I would love that. Places paw on cheek.
Me too, baby. Cups, breast.
last and most definitely least,
I don't care about that either.
on the internet. I'm Camo Rovac, and these are my 25 things I hate about furries. What do you hate?
Yo.
I just hate annoying people. I think that covers it. Yeah, that's the only video he's got left. That's the only thing I managed to grab. But, yeah, the big one. Genesius Wolf. Good old Genesius Wolf. We have a bit of a history. He helped me with one of my videos. And that's it. He's also a Christian or a Catholic. Doesn't really fucking matter. They're both the same. Hey, Ray Akuma! As long as you don't trace, it shouldn't be stealing art. Yeah, I mean, for the most part. And what's the funny thing about tracing is that when it comes to like commercial art, let's say if I'm making a movie poster and it has Tom Cruise, I always use Tom Cruise as a reference, but for whatever reason, I use him as an example. So if you want to make a poster with Tom Cruise, it's got to look like fucking Tom Cruise. So that means you're going to use a tool. It's not just a ruler or a compass or a circle tool. It's going to be the actual photo being projected on the screen. There's a reason why they sell projectors at art stores. And that doesn't mean that you can't be creative. You're not just making a portrait of Tom Cruise usually. It's going to involve like a movie poster, like the Iron Man poster. Like, let's see. Matt Bush is the one I always go to because he's an entertainment artist. Yeah, before we get into Genesius Wolf's video, which is it's going to be interesting. Yeah, this one I have on my wall. Like Robert Downey Jr., obviously he traced his face. He had either a projector or he used a graphite piece of paper to get his face on there. But obviously he didn't have Robert Downey Jr. in front of a computer screen and then went by that. I mean, sure he had references for it, but he wasn't literally just copying someone's image, and it's literally not just a portrait of Robert Downey Jr., because then everyone would just say, well, why don't you just take a photo then? And that's just generally how entertainment artists work. Or like when I do comic books, or anyone does comic books, they have people act out the scenes and put themselves in the pose so they can draw over them or use them as a reference. But some people get butthurt over that even. They just don't get it. I don't understand. There's no argument for it. That's just how it is, and people will throw it to them. And the thing is that professional artists don't bother with that. They don't bother discussing it with them. I don't anymore either. It's a waste of time. This is just a fun little stream, so. I hate Genesius Wolf somehow. Reese's did a video about him. Reese's, who is a YouTuber as well. Ooh, I have to look up Reese's. I don't know who that is. Yeah, I did, he did a video about Yif killing love, and he pulled all these sources that have a Christian bias to it when it comes to the porn addiction and the effects porn has on people. I did a video covering that. I want to look up Reese's. Reese's. Oh, 9,000 subs. Nice. I like the thumbnail. I hope when I get my fursuit done, I can get something like that up. What not to do in fursuits. Oh no, you gotta do undies. Not so much the diapers though. I don't know, but yeah, that's just an aesthetic thing. That's all about taste. Let's go over Genesius Wolf's little video here. I didn't discover this until recently. I am going to do a proper breakdown of this, but let's just go over it for fun.
I've done research. I drove 2 hours to go to a meetup.
Thank you for coming, Tony.
5 hours on a car and $120 on a convention.
So, like, Genesius Wolf is interesting to me because we have, he's like if an alternate version of me went down a different path. He's just going over like a past.
Comfortable in their own skin. I mean, fur. Everyone is happy. Not too often are we anywhere where the
and we're gonna speed this up.
Is so vibrant and passionate. The dressing up in art is fun, don't get me wrong, but to have up to thousands of people together to be silly and creative together, it makes you feel good.
Yeah, it does, and it still makes me feel good. This is one thing I don't get. I don't get how people get so uptight and how they have all these bad experiences. I go to conventions every year. I go to 3 of them. And I record, I go to restaurants, hang out with friends I don't get to see maybe once or twice a year, go to a few parties, may have some interesting discussions, and then I go home. And that's how it's like for me and both my husbands, and that's it.
I've grown to love this fandom. I invite anyone who's curious to take a look, and to those who are skeptic.
The loudest voices you might hear on the outside are the minority. If you are really interested in it and want to get away from the garbage, take a closer look. Go to a convention.
Pursue what you want in your dreams and be true to yourself. Like, don't let other people bother you and tell you what to do.
Hope you let me know if you can't hear it.
What makes you happy?
Don't knock it till you try it.
And then years later. Oh, whoa. Whoa, whoa is me.
Well, the
Party's gotta end at some point.
What's with the JPEG? What's with these white lines? If you're gonna do art of your Sona and act it out, get rid of the white lines. Come on, it's not that hard.
Howdy, y'all. Hope that everyone is having a good summer.
That's just a nitpick.
Doing their best with COVID and such. I'm sure it's just as terrible for you as it is for me. I've got a bit to say, so hold on to your butts. I joined this fandom at a point in my life where I couldn't fully express myself in real life. I was terribly introverted. I was ostracized through most of
Hey, so was I.
middle school, high school. I never really found social settings enjoyable. Furry was a way for me to get to know people and interact more healthfully.
See, for me, this is where I think our paths diverged, because I had the same situation in high school. Awkward, alone. I had a friend, though, that pushed me to go to social situations. We went to dances that I didn't want to go to. We went to parties and events. I guess in a way that kind of helped me. Not as much as going into Furry did, but in a little way it did. As well as working a retail job where I worked a retail job where I was required to act in front of people all day and every day. It's funny though, he has all these hang-ups about porn, but what does the Bible say about weed? He smokes weed.
So I thought. The truth is, while I made friends...
Yeah, I've been married to my first husband for 10 years now. No, it'd actually be 9 years this month, for October. And our second husband's been with us for 6. Has it really been 6? No fucking way. Damn, it's been that long already? Shit.
And Furry was ultimately a way of expressing my sexual energy. I had a lot of sexual feelings that I channeled into my furry activity.
Alright, here we go.
Furry was a way for me to get to know people and interact more healthfully. Or so I thought. The truth is, while I made friends, Furry was ultimately a way of expressing my sexual energy. I had a lot of sexual feelings that I channeled into my furry activity.
So, is that bad?
One of my first experiences with furries was role-playing. This frightened me, though. I didn't want to sink into sexual deviance like a lot of people in the fandom, I'd say most people in the fandom have.
What is deviance? Deviance is anything outside the norm. Homosexuality is deviance. And what's the fucking problem with it? That's what I want to know. See, Genesius made this point in one of his other videos, saying that engaging in one type of porn leads to more extreme types of porn. I'm not sure how the slippery slope works in his mind, but I guess if you know you're into cartoon dogs fucking, eventually you're going to be into the real thing. Or if you're into cartoon dogs fucking, then eventually it's going to turn into vor, then it's going to turn into hardcore vor, then it's going to turn into scat. Who knows? Who knows what the limits are? But if that's the case, then I should be into dick-shitting nipples right now. Like actual nipples that shit out dicks. That also have tentacles. It's been 10 years since I got involved, and it's been... Oh, actually, I would say 20, because I've been looking at the good stuff since high school. Since I got my first internet connection. And actually, before that, in elementary school, I was drawing the naughty stuff. So, according to him, I should be some kind of... I should have like a fucking sex dungeon right now. With slaves. If that's the case.
Because I knew it would affect me in a negative way, both emotionally...
What does the Bible say about marijuana? I know it doesn't say anything about marijuana specifically, right? Because it's before they even knew what the fuck that was. Be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion seeking someone to devour. And God said, Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree, the seed and its fruit, you shall have them for food. I don't know how that indicates related to marijuana, but okay. This site really sucks. Yeah, there really isn't much about it other than like being a drunkard or being overindulgent. Homosexuality, though, it's pretty clear on that. That was men who lay with men shall be stoned to death. It's an abomination. Men or women who lay with an animal shall be stoned to death. It's an abomination.
emotionally and spiritually. This was particularly difficult since so many furries were hypersexual people, definitely more so than me, and it was this environment that I knew could influence my behavior in a direction that in a way I foresaw coming in the future. And I didn't like that realization at all, so I decided either, okay, I've been a furry for 2 weeks, it was a quick phase and I'm done, or I like this, I'm going to get involved, but I'm going to have to try and change the minds of others so that this fandom isn't so toxic.
What do you mean change the minds? Don't have sex, guys. Don't have promiscuous sex. Not even with condoms. Don't even do it. Yeah, it sounds like you're allowed to eat weed. You're right. Maybe he has something there at least. But yeah, the promiscuity, nope. But he still engages in it. Go figure. But trying to change people's minds did not fall into degeneracy, even though you yourself are doing so. What is the problem here? As long as you are safe, as long as you're not forcing yourself onto someone or manipulating them into doing things they don't want to do, then you're kind of in the clear.
The YouTube channel to combat the toxic sexuality of the fandom.
The toxic sexuality.
Everything started. I made all my videos, I started getting more attention, I made some more friends, it actually helped me to be more open, and it started a lot of good conversations in the fandom. And as time went on, I fought harder and harder against the norms of the fandom. I openly criticized other furries for their behavior as well. While
the other question asked is, where is this fucking shame coming from? Where is this need to correct sexual deviancy coming from? Is it coming from some indication that it leads to bad things entirely regardless, or is it just because people tell you it's weird and tell you that it's abnormal and you're buying into it? Like, I don't know how some gay people look down at other people's behavior at the Pride Festival because they go around in Speedos and practically walk around completely naked while they dance and throw rainbow, I don't know what the fucking those things are called, the Hawaiian things, the tassels, whatever. Who cares? If that's not what you want to do, then just don't do it.
While that decision in particular wasn't great in hindsight, I didn't realize I would go down the same path at some point. I had a strong conviction at the time and a fast-growing YouTube channel, a vocally supportive fan base. However, a couple of things changed that and eventually put me on a different path. First was the Kiwi Farms article. While the majority of the information is skewed or just outright false, people latched onto it and drugged my name.
Hey, Johnson.
I don't even have anything against the article in and of itself because I know it's basically like the Inquirer, but with different colors. But so many people just latched onto it.
I didn't even know there was a Kiwi Farms article
that
of
was it.
him.
My name was drugged through the mud and it was over. Any new furry in the fandom who would see my content had already seen the article. So
I didn't.
basically the orders were scourged before they even set ground. Anything
Not that I would
said
care
was
what's on there.
falling on deaf ears after that. And that stagnated my channel. Mind you, didn't kill my channel, but it definitely stagnated it. Then it was the collapse of my relationship to Cash Wolf. Cash was a big part of my furry identity, a big part of my life at that time, and a big source of much of my joy, as he was the closest person to me that I loved romantically, and it was also the closest person to me who gave me a serious amount of support in the fandom and really helped me when I got kicked in the gut or, knocked down. And after we separated, all that drive and support I had from him disappeared, and I also realized a lot of my drive to do my channel was through Cash. Cash really kind of pushed me to keep going, and it did help me to enjoy the work I did at the time, but I didn't have my own drive to really keep going 2 years ago. However, that was not the kicker. The kicker was a lot more recent. I'm not going to go into details to retain the anonymity of those and the anonymity of our actions involved, but recently I had a couple of sexual experiences with some local furries that negatively affected me to the point where I just felt like an outright hypocrite, whore, and just complete piece of filth.
Well, where's that fucking coming from? Again, where is this coming from? Yeah, rainbow dildos.
More recent. I'm not going to go into details of local furries that negatively affected me to the point where I just felt like an outright hypocrite, whore.
Oh, this sounds like the eternal struggle I had until I joined. Actually, no, it was before I joined. I used to download furry porn, feel guilty after shooting one off or whatever, delete it all, and then repeat the process. Oops, sorry for hitting my mic. But then I would repeat the process a lot, and then went on for like 9 years. Going back and forth from like 11 years old to 21, and then one day I just woke up and said, fuck it, that's me, this is who I am, God's just going to have to understand. And that's just when I accepted myself. I just got tired of fucking fighting with myself. It's ironic because the church made me more furry than any furry could ever hope to make me. If it wasn't for the church's shame placed upon me, then it wouldn't be as strong as it was now, because ironically, the church telling you not to think of something because it will send you to hell makes you think of that very thing. Don't be gay or you're going to go to hell. Well, as one of my husbands would tell you, going to ex-gay therapy made him more gay than anything else. And anyone who's gone to those camps will pretty much share the same thing, that it made them more gay than anyone could have ever hoped for.
Or in just complete piece of filth. And I'm still kind of dealing with it. So now here I am. I have a dead channel.
Just get over yourself,
I have no
Genesius.
I have no joy in making any more
Admit that you're wrong, and just have fucking fun.
videos. I'm constantly dealing with furries who hate me or just won't give me the time of day. Why should I continue? I mean, I wanted to do YouTube. I love YouTube. My dream is to be a YouTuber, but not with this channel. It's time for me to move on to something else. This fandom changed my behavior to the point I did nearly everything that I said I wouldn't do and was vehemently against from the beginning. I got into YIF. I had YIF made of my Sona, and I mersuited. I did everything I knew was wrong.
Well, how is it wrong? For fuck's sakes. God damn, it's so fucking frustrating. I mean, I have some bad experiences with some furs too, but I just tell them if they do something that's a turnoff or they are being creepy. Yeah, everyone's had bad experiences. I don't like get all vitriolic about how we shouldn't have sex. Oh nope, you shouldn't be downloading that porn there. All the while I have the same temptations, I guess you could say, and then do it. God, my biggest porn addiction phase was during that time. I was like struggling. Like the last day that it happened was like I spent like 3 hours re-downloading some stuff I had, and that's when I just said, fuck this, fuck it all. And thankfully I accepted myself before I got into furry. Who knows what kind of fucked up person I would have been. I was still a believer during that time before I got involved. I got over that too. That was actually next. That's a whole story in itself.
While I might have enjoyed those actions while they were happening,
yes,
it only brought me regret and shame, which is.
And where does it come from? Your fucking religious upbringing. You can still be a Christian. You can still believe in God. Whatever. Fuck it. If you want to believe in God, then believe in God. But for fuck's sakes. The real sin here is the people that are making you feel this shame in the first place. How much fucking time have you wasted on here? I'm pulling up your Kiwi article right now.
It's my responsibility that I have. However, it's also my responsibility to decide what I do based on those things. I can't live with regret or guilt, especially for a community that pretty much ostracizes me at this point. Furry fandom is like high school all over again.
That's the thing, though, is you'd be ostracizing people who post YIF in their Twitter feed, if it were up to you. So it's tit for tat. It just came around on you because, Lord and behold, you can't argue secularly why someone shouldn't be posting porn of themselves or making porn or looking at porn or anything, and you're just obsessed with it. You're the Ted Haggard of furry. You're like Ted Haggard. Ted Haggard was a guy who was a preacher being paid, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to go up on stage and talk about how bad gay people are. All the while he was paying for male prostitutes with meth to have sex with. And then when he got outed, he's just like, yep, I sinned. And he lost his congregation, and now he sells insurance or some shit like that. But this is pretty much the same shit that I'm seeing here. Someone who preaches very heavily against something, all because they're ashamed of the fact that they have that same desire or attraction. And this is why... yeah, exactly. I knew it was wrong from which perspective, yours or the church. But yeah, the way he is, this is why whenever someone gets like really, really fucking heavy against a certain topic, like BDSM or zoo, if they get really fucking heavy against it to the point where it's like they're making something about it every fucking week, like almost every day, and I've seen it on like Facebook. It's like, oh, so it's been like 3 days and you're posting something else about this topic and how you don't like it. It's like the kid who's a very strong homophobe calling everybody queer, or the the F, the word that starts with F ends with T, which I'm pretty sure I can't say on YouTube anymore. So we'll just say that. And it turns out they're gay themselves. It gets a little questionable. It's like, are you really that hard against it? Are you trying to hide some skeletons that are in your closet? They get really pissed off when you try to spin it around like that. So, you know, I don't actively look for that. I've just happened across it.
I got into the fandom because I was ostracized in high school and it caused me to be introverted, and this would be a way for me to break out of my shell. And all it did was it might have helped me temporarily, but it just put me in the exact same spot, except now it's just caused my sexual...
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, there was actually a situation where I wrote it with someone. After he asked, I told him I don't mind. He sends yeah, but he kept apologizing every time he did. And I was like, dude, I said it's okay. Please stop apologizing, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, I've seen that. No, that's happened to us actually. There was like a guy. Oh, I forgot. I don't need to say his name, but I did forget his name literally. Why is the chat not showing up? Let's see. Let me fix that real quick here. But there was a guy that we invited over, and like every little thing, every little wrong thing or something that could be perceived to be wrong, he just kept apologizing for again and again and again. It's like, dude, calm the fuck down. And then, you know, you'll start apologizing for that. It's like you're just so fucking hung up on the idea that someone's going to reject you. Whether you've been rejected so many times that, I don't know, it's really hard to nail down. It makes me understand, like, I don't hate these people. I don't hate that. I hate when it happens. But I understand, like, given the right circumstances, that could have just as easily been me. All right, I'm gonna test the chat out here. It's gonna actually pop up. Oh shit! I know what's going on. I'm an idiot. There it is. It's like, okay, I'm a fan of cartoon animals myself, but I do not associate myself with the fandom. But it's full of sex offenders, drugs, STDs, and woke cultists. Not really, Greg. Well, we'll get into that too. In fact, I think Genesius Wolf gets into it a little bit.
And, you know, I've become an open person in real life. Why should I stick with something that continues to bring me distress? I mean, the only time I really feel like I'm not being ostracized in the fandom is if I'm RPing with somebody or doing someone a favor.
Why are you RPing with someone? I thought you were against that.
Or vice versa. With all that said, I am still a furry.
I haven't RP'd for 10 years.
I will always be a furry. I'm keeping all my furry stuff, my suit, my art, everything. Like, that's still very important to me. And I'll probably still fursuit, just, you know, on my own or with a very close-knit group of friends. And, you know, maybe in the future, I'd like to come back to the fandom, but either the fandom has to change for the better, or I have to get way stronger. And it's looking like it's gonna be the second one, so it's gonna be a long time before I come back, if I even do come back. For all I know, I could
way stronger.
Be really happy. And but absolutely, as of today, YouTube, social media, and content attendance are done. So I love all of you who supported me, and I want to thank you. Despite the end of the channel, I'm grateful for every moment I had with my subs. I'm grateful for every positive.
Probably would have had some time to do some self-examination if he wasn't making these fucking videos or constantly doubling down on his whole shit. Like, what is this? Stop posting YIF. You don't have to post YIF on Twitter. It's not necessary. Actually, it kind of is if you're an artist. Why are very sensitive as fuck to poor language and slurs, but are fucking comfortable as fuck posting YIF and RPing random people? Because it's RPing. They're not going to reach through the screen and rape you. Dude, calm the fuck down about YIF. Yeah, and it turns out he's fucking mersuiting. It's probably a good way to set yourself up to get a disease because you're so guilty and likely unsafe about it. What's this? Oh shit, better be careful. Oh, go. Dodge that bullet. Dildos galore. Okay.
Given me. You guys are the best, and I wish you all of God's blessings with whatever you do. I will be keeping my Telegram, by the way, so if you guys do want to keep in contact with me, for those who really care, I'll still have my Telegram up if you guys want to talk. Thank you for watching, especially for those who've been here since the beginning. My first 100 subs, if y'all are still with me, you're my rock. Seriously, and you have the greatest of my respect and appreciation.
Just the first 100, not after 101, you're scum. Get the fuck out. Hey, my first 100 subs, you guys are my rock. Just if you really want to stick it to the people you hate, don't spend every waking moment spiting your enemies. Work out, train in martial arts, work hard, go self-reflect, and read philosophy that you like. Yeah, what's the best revenge? I think this is Monte Cristo. The best revenge is living a successful life. You can't let people you hate live rent-free in your head. It's fucking weird. And it can drain you mentally. But that's Genesius Wolf. I guess he's gone. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess. Probably for the better, if that's how he's going to be. Because holy shit, he's like the kind of person you talk to, have an experience with, and you think everything's fine, and then find out that he's like getting all public about it, tossing out your dirty laundry or some shit. But where is that? Where was that last comment I had? Okay, yeah, I'm a fan of cartoon. You know, I'm kind of the same way, Greg, in a way. It's kind of, here continues the irony. I go around conventions filming stuff, I draw art, I post art, and I always say that I'm an artist that's a furry and not a furry artist. But I know it's supposed to say this is full of sex offenders, drugs, STDs, and woke cultists. Well, sex offenders, let's just talk about that for a brief moment. It's going to be hard to find. They're going to be very hard to find. They're going to exist in every place you go to. In fact, if you want to like keep like a ratio, the professional gaming scene has far more sex offenders right now than furry ever will hope for. What was that big list that came out? List of professional gaming sex offenders. This is how you end up on a list. These are the things. Here we go. Sex offenders banned from online games. Let's see. We'll probably have to go to Google for this. What is it? Companies agrees to close sex offender accounts. Whatever is it? There's like a huge wave. Oh, it's a Smash. Yeah, Smash community. There we go. Multiple Super Smash Bros. Accused of alleged sexual assault. Sexual misconduct. Like a bunch of these people. Not Sonic Fox though. Sonic Fox is good. So yeah, he's not listed down here. But yeah, there's just a huge list of people. And the most you get at like a furry convention is one guy who might be on the list from something he did 15 years ago, and apparently he hasn't been punished enough for whatever it is. Because how the sex registry works is that it doesn't matter what your offense is, you're in the same category as some guy who waits in the bushes for little Timmy to walk by. Doesn't matter if you're the guy who bent over and exposed his ass to his classmates as he graduated high school. Which, in that case, I did. When I graduated high school, I stuck my ass out the window and mooned my classmates. That could have landed me on the list. Go figure. I had a friend who took pictures of himself when he was 16. That could have landed him on the list. So, and of course, you know, if it's something serious, it's going to come out, and they're going to be expelled. They're going to be so ostracized, they're going to be nowhere near anything. And that's generally what happens. STDs, wear a condom, get tested, that's what I do. Most of the time I have maybe like one sexual encounter. 1 or 2. My husband's might have more. Even then, we still get tested. Drugs, just say no. I've known people that have done whippets. I've known people that have done Molly or whatever the hell. And I haven't known anyone that's overdosed on it. But nonetheless, it's still just one of those things where you just say no. You don't have to. The most I did was I smoked weed in a parking garage. It was me and one other for I won't mention. But yeah, we were drunk. I was drunk. I smoked weed. And apparently you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to smoke weed when you're drunk. And then I had a lost evening. I didn't do anything stupid because my husband was there with me. But I didn't remember anything from the parking lot up until the point where I laid in bed in the hotel room. And then I puked. In the toilet, thankfully, but I puked. Oh my god. So yeah, Super Smash Bros. All these pros accused of sexual misconduct. Again, just to emphasize, Sonic Fox is safe, as far as we know. But yeah. So people give furries a bunch of shit for their weirdness and everything, but it's just like, compared to what? If we're gonna keep tallies, good fucking luck. And some people think it's such a problem. Like I missed the panel on how to lure kids into your sex dungeon. I missed that panel. Was it at Anthrocon? Were they supposed to do it this year and they got canceled? I don't know. But I don't get people that leave that like this. Even Kothorix. I know he probably took it down. Yeah, re-upload. Let's see. It's a mirror. That's fine. This one's a little long, but...
At some point, you just have to stop doing it. So let this video serve as my resignation from the furry community. I could end the video right here, but undoubtedly people want to know my reasons why. So let me tell you just how awful the furry community actually is.
Complete sexual degeneracy. Again, I don't know. It's I don't have these negative interactions. I guess I've been lucky.
Calls people degenerates or cares about society's moral expectations. I'm pretty deep into the furry sexuality stuff myself, but even I know that you probably shouldn't fuck animals, and you definitely shouldn't fuck kids.
Yeah, I think everyone would agree with that.
But there is a sizable chunk of the furry community who do at least one of these things. When I first joined the community about 15 years ago...
At least one of these things.
Almost immediately upon entering...
I'm sorry, but...
I was tempted into online sexual encounters by older men. They do things like roleplay cuddling to groom me into getting used to increasingly sexual situations. At the time, I wasn't bisexual and had no interest in men, so they'd use furry female characters as their avatars so I'd have less of a problem with it. This would change
that's
over
weird
time
to me, 'cause
as
I
they
never did
introduced
that.
me to their other characters. It would start with sexual roleplay with their characters, but eventually led to talk about sex in real life.
Thing is, too, is I never, like, told anyone my age online. I always joke that I'm 18. I was 18 for 6 years of my life. I was 18 when I went on the internet, on any website. 18. How old are you? 18. But I also never roleplayed with strangers on the line either. I figured you're never going to meet these people in line, and you can't tell if they're telling the truth or not, or being honest. So I figured, why the fuck would I want to talk to any of these people? That was just my attitude to online chatting, and period. He still is. Kothorix is still a furry. He just doesn't involve himself publicly anymore. He still uses his furry avatar. He's still doing live streams. I don't know if you believe furries at the height of internet sexual deviancy. Yeah, you should look at some of the fucking alt-writers. That's reserved for people who are beyond mentally gone. Necrophiles, gore fetishes, stuff. Yeah. I wonder what's bad about sex. I'm 25 and I don't... Well, yeah, you're 25. When I was 12... I had to hide my age. Thankfully, though, for some reason, there's like a whole generation of kids that are too dumb to lie about their age, which I appreciate because it's easy to cut them off whenever they try to talk to you. I had a fucking 15-year-old try to weasel his way into an 18-only online app. He went on this dating app. He lied about his age. Well, no, he didn't lie about his age. What am I saying? He didn't even lie about his age. He talked to me because we were local, because the app shows you who's around your vicinity. He talked to me at first. I looked at his profile. His profile states specifically he's 15, and he says all this shit about, oh, I don't see why people make such a big deal about age. Age is just a number. And, I'm just looking to make friends and have a good time. Nothing sexual, thankfully. And I just noped the fucking hell out of him. And he talked to one of my husbands, not knowing it was one of my husbands. And he tried to get his way over here. And he's like, yeah, I just need a ride. There's one problem, though. I'm 15. Nope. He's like, how the fuck are you on here? This is supposed to be 18 only. He reported his profile and got him banned. It's fucking scary shit. To me, that's scary because it's like, it doesn't matter if someone who's 17 comes over the house or over the apartment or whatever. All it fucking takes is his parents to have issues. Like, where did you go? I went over a friend's house. Who are they? Oh, it's Crafty. How old is this Crafty? 34. Wee. And here I can imagine, and I even like imagine what the scenario would be with the cops too, because this is how easily it can be against gay people. Because historically, I don't have anything to pull up right now, so maybe it'll be a thing we look into later. But historically, cops would arrest gay people, whether like doing like a little sexcapade out in the park, or or they have some gay porn. Who's this? If it's like some young guys, like 18, 19 years old, sometimes they shave, they look kind of young. They can interpret that as, oh, you know, we understand this is supposed to be 18 over, but hey, people aren't going to believe that. We could just say they're underage, and people will buy it. So you can either confess now, sign this piece of paper, you'll get to go home. You know, you'll have to register, but hey, you won't face jail, you'll face probation. Or you could try to pursue this, defend yourself, and face up to 20 years in jail. And I can picture something like that happening with the cops. The cops would just have to be like, look, we know you didn't have sex with them. We know nothing sexual happened. But here's the situation. You know, no jury's going to believe you otherwise. No judge is going to believe otherwise. That's what your intent was when you invited them over. They're just going to assume that. So it's best now to confess guilty and get it over with, rather than face 20 years in jail if you're proven guilty. And who wouldn't fucking take that deal? Oh, 4 years probation and I'm done? Okay. I mean, you have to register, so you have no life left. You might as well just fucking blow your brains out. But hey, at least you don't get to go to jail. But yeah, I mean, shit, man. How young and spurgy I was. I know I am never forgiving myself for RPing so much cringe. Hey, Greg, I have. If the internet was as prevalent as it was now, I can only imagine the cringy stuff I would have said. Against gay marriage, against sex. I would have been ranting as much as Genesius Wolf about the moral decline of America, as much as Genesius was about furry fandom. It's insane. I'm so glad I figured my shit out when I was 21 before I got involved with furries. Holy shit, man. I can't fucking emphasize that enough. I could probably talk about the whole story in an hour. See, I'm literally almost I'm into literally almost everything. Only vomit and too much gore is what turns me off. Everything else is fine. Okay. Yeah. Let's see, Ray Akuma. Sometimes she lies about being on her period, then it's super cramped in there and kind of bloody. Gross. It's also the most riskiest time, from what I understand.
Culminating in wanting to meet up for real to the furry community.
So yeah, it talks about older people trying to get with them. It's creepy, yes, but what are you going to do? That's going to happen anywhere.
Having sex.
I mean, how do you stop it? I mean, the only thing that happens every time that someone goes public with it and everyone finds out someone's doing it, they get shamed out of existence. I mean, what more can you fucking possibly do? That's literally what happens every fucking time. They pretty much get yelled at until they go away. And then if they kill themselves, well, people then celebrate.
Dozen people over the course.
Wrongfully, I might add. But for whatever reason, people are happy that someone just took their own life.
A 3-day convention. Now that's kind of impressive in its own way, and I don't want to judge others by how often they have sex, but I just feel like rampantly spreading disease throughout the community is somewhat of a bad thing. And obviously not everyone with HIV does this, but
you'd be hard pressed to find anything like that either. Imagine how niche that is. There's a group of supposed gays that are into spreading the bug, as they say, bug chasers, as they call them. But mainly all it is just fantasy role-playing on like forums talking about infecting someone with HIV against their will and behind the bar. You know, weird shit like that. Does it happen in person? I mean, it's impossible to say that it doesn't. But if it was an epidemic, if it was happening often, people would not just turn their nose away from it and put their heads in the sand and pretend that it's not happening. And this just goes into, you know, being responsible when you have sex.
The problem is it only takes one person doing this to destroy dozens of people's lives.
Yes.
Knowing the lengths I've seen some furries go to try to get some sort of sexual activity, I have no doubt in my mind that it is common practice to lie about if you've got any sort of disease, or just lie about being tested in the first place, or just not be tested in the first place. Also, you can manipulate people into having unprotected sex. So having sex with a furry, especially at a furry convention, just seems a bit like playing Russian roulette.
Imagine how hard it is to track down someone on Grindr. if they give you an STD. I mean, you're talking about furries who are just like close knit, like they all go to the same club together, they all go to the same events together, right? They don't necessarily interchange that often. How easy is it to nail someone down if they're intentionally or just don't give a shit when it comes to spreading STDs, as opposed to a stranger in the bar? Like, hey, I met this guy at a bar, we had sex, I was drunk, I didn't wear a condom, and now I have AIDS. What was his name? I don't remember. Would you recognize him? Maybe. And that's about it. With furries, it's like, what was his name? It was Tinklebottom Sprinkle Puff. He's on the FA forums. He goes to this convention. These are the friends that he associates himself with. See, it's pretty easy to nail it down at that point. Like, here's my proof that I'm infected, and this is the last person I had sex with. Beware. How often do we see furry beware pages? I do have my qualms with them, but that doesn't necessarily exist for people who go to like bars and cruise around and shit. The fuck of death. Yeah, it's not an epidemic. It's just so concentrated that it looks like a massive problem. It's also on the internet, you know. The fuck's a condom? Oh, I have a story. So some friends of ours hooked up with this one guy. And they took off his clothes, took off his undies, looked one look at his balls or whatever, saw that he had like HPV or some shit like that. There was some shit going on there, and they're like, no, this is not happening right now. Like, and they said, have you been tested? His response was, well, I just don't believe in being tested. I don't believe in getting tested. What? And they say, oh, they didn't play, of course. And then the guy had the fucking nerve to throw a fucking fit and talk about what shitty people these guys were because they wouldn't have sex with them, or they cut him off, or they teased him, or whatever, or let him on. And it's just like, dude, you fucking have something. Take fucking care of it. Oh man, that's the extent of what I know about that.
Even makes dating a furry dangerous because you never know if they're the kind of sex-obsessed psycho who hides their various STDs from you, tricking you into thinking that monogamous sex with them is safe, which sadly isn't as uncommon as you would hope. The
See, that's one of those things, like, where's your study? Where's like your evidence of this? I mean, just because you see like a story once in a while, furries have like a convention of what, 10,000 people now at MFF? I get that, you know, you might get like one or two or even 10 that you might know personally who have been like you catch wind of, but
obsession in the fandom is so bad that it seems to melt some people's brains into a sort of sticky white goo. I've noticed that generally the longer someone has been part of the furry community, the more likely it is that they can't actually hold much of a
Oh, that guy that I'm talking about? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh man, I knew one guy who was like a really big conspiracy theorist. He was part of the Michigan militia. In fact, when he smoked some weed during one of the conventions, one of our friends pointed his attention to a helicopter, and he got so scared that he dove into the bushes.
Conversation. The only thing they seem to think about or want to talk about is related to sex. They don't really know how to speak to you outside of flirting, sexual RP, or linking porn.
Maybe. Sometimes. I mean, I'm part of a few. I'm part of a few furry chats. I got the Furry YouTubers chat here, Dealer's Den, where you just post, you know, prices of stuff that you're selling. Furs of Doom. I guess it's mainly just gaming stuff. I don't know. It's a very small group. I don't really make much time to talk to strangers that much. I mainly just make artwork and videos and post my stuff. So there's always that concern about not being with it. So I'm part of the Michigan Furs group on here. This is obviously safe for work specifically, so they can't do anything sexual. So, and, you know, there's a lot of groups like this that are safe for work specifically, and or Furry Amino. All the Amino groups, you can't have anything sexual on there. So we just talk about cute stuff, cute animals, making costumes and artwork. And yes, there's some adult groups, but obviously I can't pull those up on here right now. So it's not really, it's all on perspective, I guess. And then at the same time, I guess you would have to have someone literally go out of their way and do some kind of study. Oh no, that's Telegram, Ray. Furry Amino looks like this. Let me bring it up. Well, listen to this.
Now, I do like to flirt and I like to roleplay or look at porn once in a while, but I can't imagine doing those things 24/7. The amount of
No one
times I've
does.
gotten bewildered stares because I said I didn't want to talk about sex is kind of a testament that this really is all some of these people know. They don't seem to understand that there's more.
There's some, I imagine. I know there's some that post like new lewds and them doing stuff every day on their Twitters, but I don't know. I don't know how you could say it's a epidemic. Let me see. I gotta sign in here. Hold on.
More to having a personality than your sexual orientation and what kinks you have. Overall, I feel like the furry community can almost be viewed like a failed social experiment. What would happen if we broke down all the rules of normal society and got rid of all taboos and only ever encouraged people to do whatever degenerate sexual thing they wanted? And to be honest, I am guilty of feeding into this as well. I've made numerous videos defending various kinks and other aspects of furry degeneracy.
See, this is my problem with calling anything degenerate. They used to call it oral sex degenerate. So we'll come back to that. Oral sex and anything other than missionary sex, or any kind of sex that doesn't involve making kids. Like, what do you mean degenerate? Like, what's the... degenerate would be reference to degrading society, right? Let's see, let's look up the definition of degenerate. Having declined as in function or nature from a former or original state. Morally corrupt or given to vice. Relating to two or more quantum states that share the... Okay, that's getting the science. Having declined as in function or nature. Well, I mean, if you could still function, if you're still functioning in society, working a job, paying taxes, keeping up with a healthy family life, having a good relationship with your family, if you have a family. I know some people don't. I'm not going to rub it in people's faces. But whatever, or your friends, or your little community. I don't say furry is a community. Furry is definitely not a community. Communities form within fandoms. Fandoms are not communities. Communities are something that form within fandoms. They're a group of people that like that one thing. They get together in the first place, and then they figure out what else they like in order to figure out whether or not they should stay together or not. As friends or lovers or whatever. This is my problem with degeneracy, the idea of it, is that... So if I have like a big sex dungeon in my basement with like whips and chains and iron crosses and everything else, and every weekend instead of getting together and playing board games and video games, we get together every week and just have sex, or not even just sex, like debauchery, flogging, whipping, and things like that. How does that like connect to the economy in some way? Because we live in a capitalist society. Everything's connected to the markets and economy, right? So how does that like affect my neighbor's ability to enjoy his grilling during the summer? Or how does that interfere with his ability to go to work? Now, if I was doing it in front of him and I was making an effort to be like broadcasting it to him, then maybe that can interfere with him. But other than that, what's your argument? What's your argument against it? How is me having gay butt sex between two people affecting you? Or affecting society as a whole? What is it? What's the connection?
I do want to make one thing absolutely fucking clear, because a lot of the morons out there don't seem to get it. I only ever defend kinks.
Yeah, I know. You only defend kinks. You don't defend anything like nefarious. We get that.
Of guilt. It feels like I've just recruited someone into an animal torturing sex cult.
Absolute hugbox.
The furry community is full of some of the most hateful, vindictive people I've ever met, and at the same time, some of the most sensitive crybabies imaginable. Almost every furry I've ever had
See, this is the other thing, too. I never had this happen. But again, I just don't talk to random strangers that often. Like, this is the most that I've gotten to talk to furries right now, most of the time. It's usually short, informative conversations. Like, hey, how do I do this video thing? Blah, 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 blah. That's how you do it. Here's how do I do this art thing? There you go. I'm looking for this type of music. Here you go. That's generally how my conversations go. See, oral sex is degenerate if you don't swallow. You're wasting a whole lot of protein. Exactly. I just go to firstscience.com. They have multiple studies about the fandom, some of which may surprise you. Ooh, yeah, that's right. I never thought of that. I don't know why. I took the survey several times. Let's see. First Science. See, like, I never have encounters with, like, the whole Antifa people or anything like that. Though I have changed my opinion on anti-fascists. Because anti-fascist is not an organization. It's a idea. It's an action. Let's look at First Science.
Pleasure of arguing with, has no problem spewing hatred, insults, and outright slander, but will absolutely crumble when given back even a fraction of it. What's worse is that the community has this habit of wrapping their arms around the precious, delicate, crying baby snowflakes and then, what I've come to call, cry-bully their perceived oppressors. Across various furry chat rooms and even in my own Discord, I've seen people defend someone who I've had a minor disagreement with, as though I just threatened to murder their entire family. Often I hear the...
That I can relate to. Like, you'll encounter furries that, like, treat you like shit. And keep in mind, whenever I talk about this shit, it's not exclusive to furries. I can promise you it's not exclusive to furries. I've talked to people that ran anime conventions, and they tell me that anime fans are fucking worse. Like, you think furries are bad? They say anime fans are, like, 100 times worse. I'm not trying to... It's not about, like... It's not, like, whataboutism. It's just how people fucking are. You're going to encounter this. If you're a public figure, you're going to encounter this. Like, eventually, Ray and Greg, if we get big enough, eventually there's going to be some psychos that come on here. There's going to be people that threaten my fucking safety. There's going to be people that want to dox me. There's going to be people that want to send me unsolicited links to stuff that I probably shouldn't be... I should be wary about clicking on. It's going to happen. It's just one of those shit sandwiches I've agreed to eating. Animal torturing sex box. I've never met a fur being like, let's torture a real dog or something. Exactly. Exactly. There might be some... There's some... Again, it's impossible to say no 100% about anything in any group. I'm like, why do some people project their own experiences on a whole fandom? Like, everyone would be like this.
Excuse, you made them cry, as if shedding a few tears proves that something like...
Oh yeah, that's what I was getting into. So yeah, there's people you encounter that treat you like shit, and then if you try to like respond to them or defend yourself, it's like, whoa man, don't get so angry. Whoa man, why'd you get so angry at Bob? Bob was just making jokes. He was just making jokes. Why are you so mad?
Said was truly this unimaginable travesty. And God forbid that someone I say something even slightly abrasive to be a woman. There are so few women in the community that many of them, especially if they even have a small amount of artistic talent, are treated as incorruptible queens by their group of followers. And if you dare to so much as glare in their direction, their army of white knights will happily charge into battle, boners in hand. Most furries are terrified to have any public opinions about anything because they know it might upset someone. They're too afraid to even be associated with people who say things that might rouse the ire of the hive mind.
Nope, I can't relate to that yet. I haven't had that happen.
And don't worry, we'll talk about that later. I've known people...
I mean, I just said a bunch of shit about Genesius Wolf. Is a bunch of people going to come after me? I mean... I mean, I guess I'm not... I guess maybe if I was, like, going off and saying he should kill himself or some shit like that, which I'm not saying, and I'm not suggesting in some kind of sarcastic, half-assed way either. Or if I'm just insulting him and not making any kind of point or counter-argument, I guess you have that. But outside of that, I don't know. What else could I... it's just one of those things, too. It's like, most of this is contained online. No one's going to go out of the way to give you shit in person. How many times have I gone to furry conventions and people we've had problems with come up to us and give us shit? Zero. Absolutely zero. Shit, man. There's guys who, well, I don't want to get into too many details, not yet at least. Not offhand, not if I make it, unless I make a video on it. But you know, we've had people that had bad experiences with. Did they interact with us in cons and stuff? No. Did we see them walking around? Yes. Did they see us walking around? Oh, definitely, yes. But did they run up to us and scream at us and tell us get the fuck out and you're a scum? No. Most people will not give you shit in person because they don't want to be that guy. They don't want to be the guy that causes public drama. And especially me, since I'm a public figure. Like, if it doesn't matter, unless that person hits me in the face, it's going to look really fucking weird if I'm screaming at someone and it's caught on video. Like, why is Andy screaming at this guy? What could he possibly have done? And no matter what the reason is, unless it involves like a physical assault, or some kind of really underhanded, I don't know, stealing or something. I don't fucking know. It's not going to look good for me. That's all I got to say.
Also afraid of being judged by other furries.
See, the thing is, a lot of people become furries because of the definition as someone who likes anthro-animal stuff. I'd say that is the basic definition. When holy fucking shit, it's so much more. It's what you make of it. It can, like, when I was a little when I was 11, 12 years old, that's all it was to me, was the porn. And all the way up until YouTube came around, actually. And I started coming across furry videos, because I didn't interact with any furries up until then. And I was like, oh, that's strange. I thought it was just, you know, a fetish sex thing. And that's kind of what repelled me. Because, again, the shame and the country that we live in that's really repressed when it comes to sex and anything outside normalcy when it comes to sex. It wasn't until Tracy Butler, who does a comic called Lackadaisy, she became guest of honor at FCN. And that's what led me to finally come out of my shell. That and a push from one of my best friends. One last big push before he went off the deep end. And that's how I ended up here. Yeah, I'm already a gray muzzle. I'm 34. Remember when Jason FX tried to fuck with Pepper? See, that's one of those things I don't know. You have to actually fill me in on that. Because, like, nothing against people who follow the drama or any of these events that happen. I appreciate them, actually, because they're the ones that are going to keep me informed. But because I work 40 hours a week and do game streams and do art streams, I have very little time. And I have a family. So, I have very little time. It just eats everything up. Even the editing. Like, I'm going to be editing for, like, 4 hours once I get off of here. And I won't be able to look at anything that's going on, really. You're moving to Serbia? Oh, who is Pepper? Pepper. I know that sounds familiar. Maybe it's just because it's the name. Maybe it's just the name. Pepper. Oh, Pepper Coyote. I've seen him around. Wait, he does music? Is he the one that does the Horsecock song? Yeah, Kiba Wolf. Yeah, I watch him. Just don't bother. Okay, no, Greg, I'm gonna take your word for it, at least right now.
That they ask not to have their name put in the credits of my video as a supporter, because while they agree with the things I say, they know that my name attached to theirs will probably get them put on some kind of blacklist for something.
Yeah, and I don't go to fur meets anymore, really. I mean, I kind of want to again, but at the same time, it's just like I don't have time. I say with furries and fur meets, just go to fur meets, make your friends, and then just kind of like leave, because the whole idea that it's like for high school 2.0, yeah, that it doesn't matter what group you go to, eventually that's what it turns into, because there's always going to be people that don't have a lot going on, and so they start making conversations that involve people that are not in the room. You know what I'm talking about, Greg and Ray, I'm sure you do. The Levels of Furry by Beta, I haven't seen his videos yet. I'm going to make an effort to watch a bunch of furry videos and start making a video about like popular furries. Yeah, because Data seems, from what I've seen, Data seems cool. Beta seems cool. But anyways, yeah, so you're always going to get those types of people that talk about others behind their back, and I'm guilty of it too. I look back at it with a little bit of regret. A little bit of regret, entirely regret. And talking about shit behind people's backs, but this is 10 years ago. So it's like water over the bridge at this point with everybody. Talking about shit, talking about people's secrets that are not meant to be out there. People have done that. Or they start like in jokes that are at the expense of others, but they don't let them in on it. I've seen all kinds of stupid shit. And yeah, you can get wrapped up into it, and then the next thing you know, you're wasting all your fucking time wondering about it, or worrying about it. That's in
This is
itself.
also why, when you speak to some furries, they apologize to you a dozen times within the first.
Yeah, just like you were saying, the apology thing. The apology
You
thing.
speak to some furries, they apologize to you a dozen times within the first few minutes of meeting you. They are so used to everyone being so easily offended that they preemptively apologize for anything that could even somewhat be construed as something offensive. There's also a large portion of the community who seems to hate the idea of bettering themselves in any way. They seem to very much believe in the idea that you should stay a mental child for your entire life. If something upsets you, instead of confronting it, you should avoid it. If someone argues with you, you
I
should
can
block
relate to
them,
that,
even
yeah.
if they were a close friend who was only trying to help you. Many furries seem intent on avoiding any negative emotion at all costs.
I can understand where it's coming from too. This is like one of those circumstances things. Like I know if circumstances were different, I could have ended up this way. It's one of those frustrating things. Like I wish I knew how to break through some of these people's negativity. Like one person I was talking to, I couldn't talk to anymore. I just couldn't put up with it. I moved, so we were at a very long distance. We had a relationship. We were broken up, and like the last thing they said to me, I'm like, they're worried about their relationship and their current relationship. I asked them, what could you do to maybe make it better? Maybe talk to them, talk about your issues. And their response was, oh, I should just die. No, you shouldn't just die. It's like, how long can you just wallow in negativity like this?
If you have any sort of anxiety issues or problems coping with everyday life, you will be aggressively coddled. You will be told to avoid those things entirely.
Or you just be or they'll be aggressively apathetic to your problems and then talk about what a weird piece of shit you are, rather than understand where like your problems come from. Like if you have Asperger's or PTSD or social anxiety problems, they just be like, why is he acting like? Why are you acting like that? Huh? Why is he freaking out whenever he gets around crowds? Why can't you just get over it? Well, why is he so depressed? Why can't he just be happy? It goes both ways.
How to deal with stress or anxiety. But dealing with stress is an important part of maturing. Dealing with negative emotions strengthens you as a person and allows you to feel less stressed. And not dealing with it...
So you're just blaming me for everything?
has the opposite effect.
I'm sure you have plenty of Vaseline. Yeah, I got plenty of lube. I got boy butter. I got boy butter lube. What I plan on doing for one of these videos is doing just like watching the most popular furries, and kind of like a tongue-in-cheek way of getting lessons. Like, so how should I conduct myself to become one of these popufurs? Let's look at the most popular furry YouTubers and see what they're doing, and maybe I can figure out what I'm doing wrong.
It's no wonder that so many furries are perpetually depressed, angry, and offended. When you spend all your time running away from these emotions, even the slightest thing will upset you. In an attempt to run away from these things, they only ever make it worse for themselves. Many furries just ignore this, citing some self-diagnosed mental illness that prevents them from ever maturing as a person. So they sit and suffer forever, and are forever coddled by this self-destructive community. The furry community is a bit like Neverland. You go there, and you never grow up. You never mature mentally, emotionally, sexually, or socially. Maybe that's the reason why so many furries seem to have basically no personality. They have nothing interesting going on in their lives, they have no opinions about anything. All they know how to do is be angry and cuddle RP.
Yeah, I have very little to say about that. It's like one of those things. It's, you know, it's a general thing. It's generalizing a little bit. But the thing is like if someone's a problem, you just don't invite them anymore. And if that creates like an issue with people, then whatever. You can always make new friends.
Speaking of which, on top of being a figurative hugbox, the community is also quite a literal one.
Okay, I'll bring that video up next.
Ever seem to want to do is cuddle. Instead of saying hi, you get a cuddle roleplay response. If you ask a question instead of an answer, you get a hug. Maybe it's because they know that if they actually say anything or have an opinion that goes at all against the status quo, they'll be chastised by the rest of the community. Or maybe they really just do lack the social skills required to hold a conversation. In any case, I do want to grow up. I do want to better myself, even if it means becoming a person that says things that parts of society don't really agree with. Having character means having character flaws as well. So, I'm leaving the community.
Last year, I promised myself.
see.
It's so irrational a claim that I have a hard time even forming an argument against it, so I've stopped trying. Fandom, which, as an example of just how ridiculous minutes tend to be, that the community is stuck in a perpetual high school atmosphere. And with that comes all of the annoying bullshit that you would expect. 19-year-olds tend to be pretty dumb and immature, and it's no different for furries. They'll believe anything they hear and spread rumors and unsubstantiated claims about people. They'll judge people and anyone those people associate with based on fabricated bullshit that makes no sense and could be easily rationalized if they spent even a few minutes thinking about it. I've had people who I thought were good friends completely turn on me because of some shit someone else said about me. To this day, there are people I was once friends with who will no longer talk to me because of some non-issue from years ago, or because I talked to someone that they don't like.
Yep, I can relate to that. Specifically my husband can relate to that more, because I don't really talk to people that much. But yeah, we've had that happen where like they're talking to us and then they stopped because someone else told them some shit about us. In fact, funny story, we had someone doing that around our current location, and I think he just pissed off the wrong person, because next thing we know, he got arrested and he's in jail for 4 years. I don't feel good about that. I don't think his life should be ruined because he said some stupid shit about us and other people behind our backs. And he said the full shebang. He said as many accusatory things that are completely 100% damning. He made that about us everywhere he could. And he ends up getting arrested and going for 4 years in jail. He didn't do anything involving like assault or murder or anything, obviously, because he's 4 years. But yeah, he got caught with some stuff, and now he's in jail for 4 years. Yeah. There's a first one? Because the second one referenced the second one? What? There's one thing I don't get about, let's see, I don't think there's anything much less we can go over here.
I get both called a Nazi and an SJW, depending on who you talk to. Both sides of the fandom, which we'll talk about later, are absolutely sure that I am simultaneously both of these diametrically opposed things. It's so irrational a claim that I have a hard time even forming an argument against it. I want to hang out in your Discord server full of your 19-year-old friends. Let me put it this way. Think of a group of people you really can't identify with. For this
is why I don't have a Discord. Well, I do have a Discord. I don't know, I just haven't hung out with them.
Right lie.
There's not a lot of people on there.
Something incriminating. They will pose as a friend or supporter to get you to lower your guard. They will dig through your Discord server's message history to find things to use against you. They will bully you, harass you, dox you, and do this.
This is the thing I have to look forward to.
Same thing to your friends. They will push you to the point of suicide and then openly celebrate your death. I am not exaggerating. This has happened. One of the most interesting things about the hive mind is the level of inconsistency within its own rules. Inconsistent moral outrage seems to be par for the course. For example, even the hive mind will agree that the furry community is mostly sexual, and sexuality is something to be celebrated. However, the types of sexuality and fetishes you are allowed to have seem to change on a weekly basis. Today, bondage is in. It's a fun, healthy kink everyone should try to spice up their love life. But next week, bondage is disrespectful toward women and perpetuates rape culture. Last week, Lion King porn was perfectly acceptable. Everyone loves the Lion King. But today, all drawings of quadrupedal animals is the same thing as...
Yeah, I haven't been looking at... I don't pay attention to all this shit, so I don't know what the trends are, like on what to hate and what not to get into, because I don't give a shit. At least not yet. We'll see what happens down the road, huh?
Bestiality and will be shunned.
Congratulations, received 100 messages today. Yay. Shit, it should be in my link. It should be in my description. Hold on, I'll pull up the link just in case it's not. Alright, I think we had enough of this. I think it pretty much covers everything. There wasn't really a lot of gripes I had with his video.
I know, vocal minority.
Just like the idea that like people who make fursuits do it for attention. It's like, yeah, of course they do. Why is that a problem? That is like my main complaint. My only main gripe with this video is like, why wouldn't you want attention? Even if whether you built your suit or bought your suit, I think it would be kind of depressing if no one paid attention to you as you walked around. But maybe it was just misworded. Who knows? What was I doing? Oh yes. Discord link. If not here, it's in my other channel. Let's do some Inception here. So if it's not on here, then oh shit, it's not. Well, that's silly. It should be my default. Okay. Discord. Okay. Save there. Alright, levels of furry. I gotta get some videos ideas to get see what videos to use for this idea anyway, so let's try this one.
I wouldn't do this again. And 1 year later, look where we are. But hey, oh god.
Oh, so he did do it again. Okay. Kothorix happened to meet the wrong people and just generalizes his experiences. I think it's also because he interacts with a lot of online people, too. I hate to say it like that, but I think that's what it comes down to, is like it just putting too much weight on Twitter posts and online chats, because you never, I can assure you, like one time there's a bunch of people on Facebook talking about how Anthrocon was full of Nazis, how they didn't feel safe going to Anthrocon. A bunch of people that were never going to go anyways, talking about how Anthrocon's full of fucking Nazis. Whatever the fuck. And of course it wasn't. At least, I don't know, I was out there walking around doing an 8-hour long stream. So goddamn. That's why you can't put anything that put so much weight on internet online experiences like that. First one is 7 levels. Do you want it? Should we do the first? I'll let the stream delay. Should we do the first one, or should we do the second one? I already got the second one up here. Not that it would take long to even go back, but oh, I didn't know Matt Bush had a DeviantArt. Huh. Okay, 3 years ago. Holy shit. Part 2?
Live TV from 85 plus channels with local sports and
We don't need to hear the ad. Oh, am I going to get paid for these ads because I'm playing them on my stream? Does it work like that? I guess it doesn't.
Community. Oh my, the fuck am I doing with my life? So I decided to pull a spare Kleenex and make another 7 Levels of Being a Furry HD remix. Or in this current case, Dante's edition. So if you've read the divine comedy Dante's Inferno, you should know that he believes there are 7 levels of hell. Okay, I know there are actually 9 levels, but for the sake of this argument, we're going with 7. 7 levels of torture that get progressively worse for the sins that humans have committed over the span of their life. As he went further down, he saw more sin in humans, and in turn, more torture. On the first level would be people who weren't baptized or didn't believe in God, and the 7th.
You made an intro for Vosh. Oh yeah, we're not on Twitch. I can actually play it on here. Yeah, so Vosh did a... I'm surprised you know about Vosh. I'm glad. Well, at least, I don't know. Is it a good thing? Don't disown me if you don't like him. We saw Kothorix's video. We know what this leads to. Whoa. Oh, there it is. Okay. I thought YouTube took it down. So, yeah, there's like a whole big intro of this whole CancelCon thing, and you're probably aware of it, but who knows? Just to cover our bases. And so, like, he made a suggestion. I decided to take him up on it, just for the hell of it, just for fun.
Do you guys think I should commission an opening like this to every stream, where it shows...
Hold on. Let's turn it up.
Do you guys think I should commission an opening like this to every stream, where it shows like dramatic still images of my face, like fucking flying around in a void while dramatic music plays it?
Presenting His Royal Majesty.
Bad Dragon horsecock deep throat videos. Fursuits look weird. Never going to take that away. I'm not a big fan of raping children.
Nice meme. Citation needed, my friend.
Wait, are you familiar with Alden's number?
Holy shit, dude!
I literally just made that up.
Yes! Smoke weed every day. What the fuck?
Yeah, we're going back to 2005. Yeah. I don't like Vosh, but I don't believe in shunning people who don't agree with me 100% because it's petty. Yes, I strongly dislike Vosh, but I don't have to hate you. I appreciate that. See, I can get on board with that.
Level would.
I like Vosh, but I'm not going to say that anyone's a moron who hates Vosh either. And the same goes to even Genesius Wolf. People like Genesius Wolf, I guess it's a matter of like why. And even with why, it's like, okay, I understand.
More sin in humans, and in turn, more torture. On the first level would be people who weren't baptized or didn't believe in God, and the 7th level would consist of sadists, mass murderers, and terrorists. So as there are 7 levels of hell in Dante's Inferno, I believe there are 7 levels of being a furry, because there's nothing more unholy than a furry. God blessed us by placing us on this earth as humans, the most intelligent of all, the dominant species. And you wish you were a fox that could stand on its hind legs. Fucking marvelous. Besides the point, for the 7 levels of being a furry, it's a little bit different. The further down you go, the more hellish it is for the people around you. And it should also be noted that I have nothing against furries since I myself am one. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This entire method is just a way.
Yeah, I was going to ask the question. Why the life jacket? Does he do a lot of
putting
swimming?
people on a scale of how furry they are. So if you're offended by any of this, please go to your nearest window and try looking for the flying fuck I sent. So if you're done bitching, let's begin. Level 1, the affinity stage. The most basic level of being a furry you can get. This is where one enjoys the cartoony anthropomorphic style of animals. This includes things like enjoying seeing animals wearing clothing, enjoying Disney Pixar films a little too much, and only barely thinking about having a fursona. This category is more or less populated by a very rare breed of creative children, along with some adults who grew up with a love for Disney. I know kids love Disney and shit. We all did. But thinking about making something in relation to a fursona when you're a child is very rare. But if you are at this level, just remember that you're only at the basic level of the Inferno, so don't worry, just don't feed into it. Now on the other hand, at this stage you're already in hell. There's no way up and out, and the only way to go is down. To level 2, the plushie stage. Now in this phase, on the scale of furry, or overall flamboyancy, you'd be going from a 1 to a solid 25 out of 10. Things do escalate very quickly. Now this is a stage where you would begin to grow your affinities for the furry genre. This is where you would begin buying plushies and potentially getting your kinks involved with the fandoms you adore. This is also the point where you might start talking like a furry, and not in the physical sense. If you did this physically, you'd be mistaken to have Down syndrome. When I mean talking, I mean in online conversation. This is where the second phase thrives and spreads the most, meaning gravity kicks in at this point. You'll begin.
Hold on. There we go. Let me we got full screen this. I gotta put my headphones off. I do not have a long enough cord for that. Let's see, yeah, plushies. Yeah, I got a few. I got a few. Put on the light. Let's see, I know I got a longer cord than this. There we go. Yeah, Weasel that I got for my birthday. Some, let's see. It's hard to aim this. There we go. Fenix. And I got some statues. You can probably see Spyro back there too. Oh yeah, and these don't count as plushies, but you know, that's we got these here too. Of course, it's all blown out right now. There we go. Yeah, more Lilo and Stitch, and then I got these babies that I made. Whoops. Yeah, then I got these babies. I can't get it to focus, but so yeah, I guess I'm at level 25. Ah, crap. Yeah, I found an excuse to show it off. All right.
And using words like,
oh shit, you know, I got a few other things. Yeah, down here. Of course. Got a bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's because, yep, I had to. Some basic Lego stuff for Halo. Tom McFarlane toy. Giant enter button. Fugler dolls, whatever the fuck these things are. I thought they looked cute. So that's why I got those. And then games. Bunch of fucking games, because why not? Yeah, that's the full tour. Oh. And I always have friends watching me as I game and do streams. What was it? Blue, Delta, Charlie, and Echo. Yeah, that's it. All the raptors from Jurassic Park. And then one of my creations, Timmy Flakes. 2 HP in every box. And yes, it's full of Timmy Flakes. And then, yeah, these are a few figures I made. I just took some basic animal figures and then did them up. I know the camera doesn't want to focus in on things too close like that, but yeah, that's about as much as I can show off on these things. So yeah, I guess that puts me at level 25. We're getting deep. We're getting really deep. I made a Timmy Flakes commercial if you want to check that out. That's on a different channel, actually. Video watching back there. Oh, hi! There we go. Put the chat up over things. And realize it was that.
Ooh, oh, whatever the fuck this is, and you may even begin to break out the occasional pet or hug when talking with online friends. More than likely, these friends will stop wanting to talk to you because they're fucking terrified, or they might just go for the instant
I never
block.
talk to normal people like that at all.
Happen to be friends with a furry of or around the same level, I can guarantee that yours and his behaviors will bring each other down to the third phase, level 3, the planning phase, or as I like to call it, the thick stage. This is the stage where you have a fully blown original fursona. At this point, you've dropped a good $5,000 worth of artwork on the fucker, which is the equivalent to like 3 art pieces and 1 sketch, knowing the pricing for fucking commissions nowadays. Now that you have your fursona, you've officially gone on to planning out your fursuit, how much it'll cost, where you're gonna get the exotic fibers, and how long it'll take before your parents find said project that you hid in your closet from them. Along with stages 1 and 2, you've gone fully blown into enforcing kinks onto your fursona. I mean, I don't blame Pyro. That's a thick-ass dragon. Level 4, the suitor stage. Congratulations, you've officially dumped all of your college savings, as little as it was, into making your very first fursuit. Now you're just getting used to being a fursuiter and you're still self-conscious about it. You're thinking, holy shit, I want to live with my parents, but if they find out, they'll disown me. Which is a fucking mystery how that hasn't been apparent already. You're not feeling comfortable or ready for conventions, like Vancouver. Every fiber in my being regrets saying that. I have lost brain cells for saying that. So you just take pictures of yourself in your fursuit and kind of just fuck around awkwardly with your thumb up your ass. Level 5, the confidence stage. I think this stage is self-explanatory. You go to a convention in your suit, you have a fucking gangbang with the other fursuiters.
I lost my confidence stage. I used to be able to fursuit out in public, and I don't think I have the nerve for it anymore. It's not even like for bad experiences. I don't know. I think I'm just afraid of the bad experiences. I'm afraid of the negative attention it generally would bring just to go out fursuit publicly, at least by myself. If I was with a crowd, possibly, I wouldn't mind. But this whole like thing where people get to like gather with one other person and they go out to like Walmart and fursuit around, nope, not doing it.
Suitors, and you make friends over that. You know, if people actually make friends that way, then they're living a much more fulfilled life than me. I've got fuck all for people. Level 6, the questionable stage. You see, I don't actually want to talk about this one because it's getting really creepy and disgusting. 2 words, fursuit sex, question mark. You begin to question more about yourself, who you are, what you want to become. Wait, who you want to become? That's
I
right,
like
at
this
this
guy.
point you're considering. If not, you've already decided to become a kin. Depending, of course, on your Sonus animal base. Oh, fuck being human. You were meant to be a dragon. See, the more I talk about this, the more I lose hope for humanity. And to wrap it all up, level 7, the degenerate phase. I've never actually met a human being that has gotten to this level of being a furry before, hence this video having 7 levels of being a furry instead of 9. But I've never felt so blessed to not know someone like that. So as you can tell, since I know 0 people that are at this level, probably gonna be the same for 8 and 9. The only way I can possibly come close to explaining what this stage is, just watch this video. Even though this does not seem appealing in the slightest, I can see why that's amazing.
Well, then the crotch of a fursuit by unsettlingstories.com. Tampons.
Major turnoff. The video sums up this phase pretty damn well. Okay, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm getting really uncomfortable. Now that you've heard about the 7 levels of being a furry and what it entails, I'm assuming you want some good examples or applicants to the levels, so I'd like to welcome a couple of friends of mine on here to share their level.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll show you this off and we can call it for tonight. I don't normally like to toot my own horn, but yeah, if you like your Undertale, so here's the Crafty Arts channel. This is a part of a bigger video that we made. So I took the Timmy's commercial and we remade it.
Timmy Flakes, an original breakfast. Timmy Flakes, it's so good you can't taste it. Timmy Flakes, don't forget to digest it. Timmy Flakes in your mouth. Timmy Flakes, part of a complete breakfast.
Yes. And then this is the actual video. Whoops. Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, just minimize everything. That's cool. There you are.
Human child depraved and vile, in your smile a terrible. What's that sound?
It's the best Sans costume we could come up with in under 5 minutes.
Oh, hey Sans.
Bootleg Sans.
Oh,
Should have redid that take.
Fucking Undertale tribute, you lazy shitbag. Look, I am a serious artist, and I deserve some respect. Oh, damn it! All right. I'll get to the damn Undertale tribute. All right. I've been a busy boy. A lot of things have been happening. Just give me a break. No. Okay. All right. Show me some mercy. That's it. Okay, I'll do it. I swear to God, though. After I'm done,
You'll do what, bitch?
all right.
So yeah, we get into deep diving and an Undertale and all that stuff and making an art piece. So that's, you know, if you want to check that out. But all in all, that kind of sums up everything. So yeah, I'll try to be back on here next week midnight. Since this is actually getting, I already got an audience on here, so why not make this a regular thing? If you got any suggestions to send me though, feel free to do it. Whether it's on a comment on this video or email or Patreon or anything of that nature, then by all means, I'm open for everything. We can talk about any kind of serious or non-serious topic. I don't care. All right. Until then, though, have a good night. I appreciate you coming on, though. That it's awesome.